This just in, a wave of determination is sweeping across India, an unstoppable force rewriting expectations, shattering ceilings, and reshaping the global narrative. Analysts are scrambling, experts are stunned, and even America is watching with astonishment as India once again rises, fueled not by luck, but by relentless ambition, unshakable resilience, and the kind of grit the world can't ignore. Good evening. We begin tonight with a story that has captured global attention, India's remarkable surge, a triumph not born in boardrooms or headlines, but in the determination of millions who refuse to bow to limitation. The world is witnessing a shift, and the reason is clear. India's spirit has entered a new era across cities and villages, from classrooms to startups, from the hands of workers to the minds of innovators. A powerful message is echoing: we will rise, not someday, but today. And as America, a long-standing giant of innovation and success, watches closely, one truth becomes undeniable: India is not competing to follow, it is competing to lead. What was once called impossible is now becoming inevitable. Every challenge is being treated as a stepping stone. Every setback is being answered with a comeback. Tonight, we don't just report a victory. We report a shift in human potential and a reminder to the world: when a nation believes in its people start believing in themselves. And when individuals believe in themselves, no power on earth can stop them. This is not merely India's story. This is the story of anyone who has been underestimated, doubted, dismissed, or ignored. India's triumph reminds us all: you don't need approval to succeed. You need hunger. You need discipline. You need fire. So let the world watch. Let the world question. Because the rise is real, the momentum is unstoppable, and the next chapter is just beginning. Determination beats expectation because it transforms ordinary individuals into forces that can rewrite the destiny others assumed for them. When you operate with pure determination, you stop waiting for ideal conditions and start building success from whatever is in front of you. India's rise, whether in technology, science, sports, or entrepreneurship, proves this with absolute clarity. For decades, many predicted limits, but determination didn't just challenge those predictions, it shattered them. And this is exactly what happens when a person, a team, or a nation decides that expectations set by others have no authority over what they can achieve. Determination takes you from what the world thinks you are to what you decide you will become. Expectations are often built on history, your past mistakes, your past failures, your past struggles. Determination, on the other hand, is built on vision. It sees the future, not the past. It sees possibility, not restriction. Determination says, you may judge me by where I stand today, but I will define myself by where I am going. This mindset is the heartbeat behind every major breakthrough. It's the mindset that fuels India's rise, and it's the mindset that can fuel yours. When people expect little from you, they unknowingly hand you an advantage, the freedom to surprise them. Determination thrives in silence. It grows when others overlook you. It strengthens when you are underestimated. And once it catches fire inside you, expectation, no matter how low or limiting, becomes irrelevant. You no longer measure yourself through the eyes of doubters. You measure yourself through the progress you make every single day, no matter how small. India's success story shows that greatness is not reserved for those who are already ahead. It is built by those who refuse to stay behind. Determination is not about having everything. It's about doing something with whatever you have. It's about waking up each morning with the same unshakable decision: to be better than yesterday, to push a little harder, to learn a little faster, to stay focused when others get distracted, to keep moving when the path is unclear. Determination is not loud, but its results are. Many nations with more resources, more wealth, and more influence assumed India would rise slowly, if at all. But they forgot something important. Resources can be counted, but resilience cannot. Determination cannot be measured on a chart. Grit cannot be captured in a statistic. A hungry mind, a disciplined spirit, and a relentless heart can outperform any expectation at any time. And when millions share that same fire, progress is not just possible, it becomes unstoppable. This is the same principle that applies to your personal life. Maybe people have underestimated you. Maybe they didn't believe in your dreams. Maybe they doubted your ability to grow, but their expectations are not the blueprint for your destiny. Determination allows you to break the boxes others put you in. It allows you to rise above labels, opinions, and assumptions. Every moment you choose effort over excuses, you move closer to the life you want. Every moment you choose discipline over comfort, you widen the gap between who you were and who you are becoming. Determination is what turns late nights into progress, failures into lessons, criticism into motivation, and challenges into stepping stones. It is the force that pushes you through setbacks when others quit. It is the reason you keep showing up, even when the results are slow, the process is painful, and the journey is lonely. Determination says, I will not stop until I turn this possibility into reality. And when you carry this level of conviction, expectation, no matter how high or low, has no power over you. India's rise is a reminder to the world that the underdog can become the leader when determination refuses to bend. And your life can follow the same trajectory. You don't need the world to believe in you. You don't need approval, permission, or validation. What you need is the fire inside you to burn brighter than any doubt outside you. Determination beats expectation because determination is built from within, while expectation comes from the outside. And the power within you will always outweigh the opinions around you. Once you decide to rise, innovation thrives where grit exists because true creativity does not emerge from comfort, privilege, or perfect conditions. It grows in the fire of challenges, scarcity, and a relentless desire to solve problems. When people face obstacles that demand solutions, their minds stretch, adapt, and evolve in ways that effortless environments could never force. This is why some of the world's most groundbreaking ideas, resilient technologies, and powerful movements have originated from places where people had far less, but dreamed far more. India's rise reflects this truth vividly. Innovation flourished not because everything was available, but because almost nothing was. Grit became the fuel, and creativity became the engine. Grit is the silent partner of innovation. It keeps you trying when the first attempt fails, adjusting when the plan collapses, and believing when everyone else doubts. Many imagine innovation as a spark of brilliance, a sudden flash of genius. But true innovation is a grind, endless trial and error, countless failed prototypes, sleepless nights, and the courage to keep experimenting even without guarantees. It is the refusal to give up that finally leads to the breakthrough. Grit says, let's try again. And innovation answers, here's something new. India's story demonstrates this perfectly. Despite limited resources in many industries, talent did not fade, it sharpened. When resources were scarce, individuals improvised. When technology was limited, they learned to build their own. When opportunities were thin, they created new ones. Grit forces the mind to think differently, to see solutions others overlook, to connect ideas in ways that traditional thinkers would never attempt. The world often assumes innovation belongs to advanced countries with massive budgets, cutting-edge labs, and heavily funded institutions. But innovation truly belongs to those who refuse to accept limitations. It belongs to the thinkers who keep pushing, the dreamers who keep building, and the fighters who keep moving. When grit and creativity collide, innovation becomes inevitable. This lesson is not exclusive to nations. It applies deeply to individuals. Some of the most innovative people in history started with nothing but a relentless inner drive. Their grit allowed them to push through failures, ridicule, scarcity, and impossibility. Innovation requires boldness, the courage to step into the unknown, the confidence to challenge old systems, and the determination to reinvent what everyone else accepts as normal. But without grit, boldness fades. Without grit, ideas die before they are tested. Grit is the anchor that keeps innovation alive long enough to grow. India's rise in global markets, technology, entrepreneurship, and research happened because millions believed they could build something better, not just for themselves, but for generations to come. Startups flourished because young thinkers refused to bow to outdated methods. Scientists pushed boundaries because they believed that knowledge should evolve, not stagnate. Students broke barriers because they refused to let circumstances limit their ambitions. The common thread behind these transformations was grit, the unwavering commitment to keep going. Innovation thrives in environments where people are willing to work beyond expectations, endure uncertainty, and embrace challenges as opportunities. Grit makes you resourceful. It teaches you to do more with less, to stretch your capabilities, to rethink what's possible. When everything comes easily, there is no need to innovate. But when life demands solutions that don't yet exist, your mind becomes the birthplace of breakthroughs. In your own life, innovation and grit must work together. Whenever you feel stuck, pressured, or underestimated, that is the moment when your creativity has the chance to expand. The question is not whether you have resources, the question is whether you have resolve. You don't need a perfect environment to build something great. You need persistence. You need hunger. You need the willingness to experiment, fail, learn, and try again. Your ideas will evolve because you evolve. Your solutions will get sharper because you keep refining them. Innovation is not an event. It is a practice, and grit is what keeps that practice alive. Remember, it is not the smartest who win, nor the richest, nor the most privileged. It is those who keep pushing when others stop. It is those who refuse to settle for what already exists. It is those who see problems not as roadblocks, but as invitations to innovate. Innovation thrives where grit exists because grit ensures you never stop creating, never stop imagining, and never stop building. And when you combine determination with imagination, you don't just follow the future, you create it. Belief is the seed of achievement, and courage is the force that makes that seed break through the ground. When you believe first, you unlock a power that pushes you beyond hesitation, self-doubt, and the limits imposed by your environment. Achievement is not born the moment success arrives. It is born in the moment you decide you are capable, worthy, and ready to move forward. The world often waits for evidence before offering respect, but progress begins long before evidence appears. It begins in the unseen battles you fight inside your mind. Every accomplishment you admire in others started with a belief that looked impossible at the time. Belief is the spark. Courage is the flame. Achievement is the fire they create together. When India rises on the global stage, when it surprises nations that once doubted its potential, the root of this rise is not merely technology or infrastructure, it's belief. A shift happened. People began to trust their capabilities. They began to say, "Why not us?" And the moment a nation collectively asks that question, the trajectory changes forever. Belief unshackles hidden potential. It gives ordinary individuals the confidence to take extraordinary steps. It whispers, "Try," when fear says, "Stop." It motivates you to take the leap even when you don't know where you will land. Courage then steps in as the bridge between belief and achievement. Belief without action is just hope. Courage without belief is reckless. But together, they become unstoppable. Courage is what pushes you into the unknown, what makes you stand firm in adversity, what makes you speak truth when silence feels safer. Courage takes belief from an idea in your mind and turns it into a force in the world. It is the engine that drives your actions forward, even when the path is uncertain, even when others doubt you, even when you doubt yourself. In India's story, courage appears everywhere. In entrepreneurs betting on untested ideas, in scientists pushing beyond traditional boundaries, in students daring to dream beyond their surroundings, in workers pursuing growth despite hardships. Courage shows up in the willingness to try again after failure, to build again after collapse, to hope again after disappointment. When a country or a person has courage, progress becomes inevitable because nothing can permanently pin down a spirit that keeps rising. Believing first and achieving next is the natural pattern of greatness. You cannot wait for success to validate your belief. You must believe to create success. Too many people sit still, waiting for the perfect signs, the perfect opportunities, the perfect approval. But believing first means you begin even when the outcome is fuzzy. You start even when no one is watching. You move even when fear begs you to freeze. You act even when you feel unprepared. Because deep inside, you know something powerful. The only true limit is the one you accept. The world follows courage because courage is rare. Most people choose comfort, most choose familiarity, most choose the predictable path. But the bold choose uncertainty. They choose growth over ease. They choose movement over stagnation. People admire those who refuse to shrink. They respect those who are unafraid to reach further. Courage becomes a magnet. It pulls opportunities, resources, and allies toward you because people instinctively trust those who trust themselves. In your life, belief and courage will shape everything you build. When you wake up believing in your abilities, you walk differently, speak differently, and make decisions differently. You stop seeking validation and start creating direction. You stop thinking small and start thinking forward. Courage then helps you step into places your old self never imagined. You take the risks you once avoided. You welcome challenges you once feared. You grow into a version of yourself that once seemed unimaginable. Achievement is simply the world's delayed reaction to your earlier decision to believe. It is the proof that your courage had meaning. It is the confirmation that you were right to trust yourself when circumstances gave you every reason to doubt. It arrives after countless small battles you win in private, long before anyone sees the results. Believe first, achieve next. Because belief is your foundation and courage is your weapon. When you combine the two, you step into a realm where limitations lose their power, where doubt loses its voice, and where even the highest expectations cannot compete with the reality you create. You become the kind of person the world cannot ignore, the kind who leads, the kind who inspires, the kind who rises. And so tonight, as the world watches India's ascent with surprise, let this moment remind you of your own power. If an entire nation can rise through sheer will, discipline, and unstoppable belief, then so can you. Your story is not over, your potential is not capped, and your rise has no ceiling. Stand tall, move forward, and let your success be the headline that leaves the world stunned.